My name is Patrick Preudhomme, or Patrick Alexander Preudhomme Jr. I have been with Carolina now since 2017. Right now, I'm the program director for off-campus student life. Prior to that, I was with Carolina Housing, where I was a community director in Cobb and an assistant director for North Campus.
Awesome. And where do you call home?
Home for me is currently, I now live in Burlington, North Carolina. I've lived in North Carolina now since I was in high school. Went to college here. So North Carolina is where I call home now.
And were you a first generation undergrad or graduate student?
I wasn't. Both my parents, they actually both met in college at Denver University, so that's how they met. My grandmother went to college. She's a huge person that has pushed me my entire life, saying the most important thing that you can get is a degree, because it's something that no one can ever take away from you.
And what was your major in college?
Fun story, I was started off as an engineer for 3 years. Did not work out. After that, I switched to anthropologies, and I ended up as an anthropology major.
And what was the most challenging part of your college experience?
Of course, going back to the hardest part for me was definitely figuring out what was right for me. I wanted to be an engineer because I wanted to make lots of money. I thought that's what I wanted to do. But as I did it, was learning that that wasn't right for me. It wasn't the right fit. So I think the biggest challenge was having a couple bad semesters, having a bad GPA, but picking myself up and realizing it's okay to switch and it's okay to change things, and ending up switching majors and actually finding what I enjoyed much more.
And so what advice would you give your younger self?
I'd probably tell myself that the most important thing would be to focus on really understanding what's important to you. So for me, it's, what did I enjoy doing? I didn't like math, so why was I in math? So I think telling yourself it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to experiment, it's okay to try new things. I think those are some of the things that would be the most important.
Can you describe your journey into student affairs?
Of course. So while I was an undergrad, I had the opportunity to work with our hall council on campus. So in my residence hall at UNC-Charlotte, I got the opportunity to be the hall council president for my building, which is super fun. From there, I was like, this is really cool. I then became an RA, and I was like, being an RA is really great. I was a student alumni ambassador. I did all the fun things and realized that this is what I want to do for a living. So I decided to go to App State, where I got my master's in higher education and my MBA, so I can learn about the business side of education as well.
That's great. And so what brought you to UNC-Chapel Hill?
What brought me to Chapel Hill was definitely the location. So my family now lives in Burlington, so I wanted to be close to them. I also really just love the school. I've always heard about UNC, and when I did my interview here, everyone was so kind and excited. It was very family friendly. So my daughter Charlotte, who was at the time was 1, so having a chance to bring her here was really great. I love just the atmosphere here. I love having students that are excited to be here. You have students that have spent their entire life saying, hey, I want to go to Chapel Hill, and having the chance to work with these students who are so excited is really amazing. And just seeing students who are just so innovative and creative, students who have come in here with a purpose. It's been a lot of fun, and one of the reasons why I've enjoyed working with students. And of course the people. I love the people I work with. I always say that all the time. That's one of the main reasons I continue to stay here as well.
Can you share a big misconception about your department?
Absolutely. So I think a couple of the big misconceptions of our department is, one is that living off campus is expensive. I think a lot of students think that moving off campus, I'm not going to get what's right. It's one of the things we try to do in our office is show people that, hey, what are you looking for? Let's talk about the amenities you're looking for. Let's talk about distance, location. There are some hidden costs and things that students may not see. Part of our job is educating the students to make sure they understand all the costs, all the things that they need to be thinking about to move off campus, to make sure that it fits their budget and fits their needs of what they're looking for, whether it's living with a bunch of people, living by themselves, living in a house, living in a duplex, living in an apartment complex. We want to make sure that whatever that fit is makes sense for those students. And then the other misconception is that people only move off campus to party and have a really good time. Part of the work we do is to connect students to the community at large. So helping students to see the Good Neighbor Initiative. We want them to connect to the local community, meet the local people around there. There's people that have lived in Chapel Hill their whole lives. We want the students to connect with them and be good citizens and recognize that, you're not just living here for 4 years, you're also giving back to the community, that you're also, you're an active participant in the town where we are.
What makes off-campus student life an important resource for students?
Absolutely. I think the main, there's lots, and one of the things with us, we have an amazing office right now. It's myself and Molly. Basically, the two of us, we work to connect a lot of the students with a lot of resources on campus. So we're working to connect them with the properties and the different places that have it. So we're working with them to see what's available. We pull in partners like Carolina Legal, who's going to help them look over like their leases and help them understand like when they're signing up for what are they getting into. We're also partnering with our community partners like the Jackson Center, the CCC, the coalition, to kind of talk about, what are our students doing in the community? How are they engaging the neighbors? How are they making sure that if they are doing stuff like having parties and socializing, that they're doing it in a safe way and that's not disrupting the community? I think our office does so much to kind of connect people with folks. We also have a way that students can actually sign up to be roommates, that they can do it through our website to kind of find if they're looking for a roommate, they can do that. We have resources like, you don't have your RAs anymore when you move off campus, but we provide some of those things like here's a template for a roommate agreement, because even though you're off campus, it's still really important. So I think our office is really about connecting students to the community at large. And, when you're living off campus, what does that look like? And trying to kind of everything A to Z in between there.
Awesome. Let's sit on the couch.
Absolutely.
And can you answer what excites you most about your new role?
Oh yeah, I think for me, what excites me most is meeting people. I love meeting people. I love working with local partners. I love working with students. Already, even yesterday, one of my first things I got to do was we do what we call the party follow-up. So one of the things we do is after someone in the community gets cited or gets a warning from the police about having a party or having a noise violation that was too loud, our office will actually go and we'll walk over there, we'll knock on doors, and we'll actually connect with students, have good conversations, and talk about like, hey, what happened? How can we make sure we don't do this in the future? We recognize that, students, we want to, part of why we lived off campus is we want to have a little bit more freedom and be able to do some of these things. But we want to work to understand, hey, how do you do that in a way that makes sense? We talk through like, what does that look like to, hey, if you're having noise, go walk outside and see how loud it is. Those are ways that you can kind of make sure that you're being a good neighbor, but you can still enjoy your time at Carolina. You can still have fun. You can still, root on Chapel Hill as we play Duke, but still do it in a safe way.
Okay, finish the sentence.
Yep.
If I didn't work in student affairs, I would.
Ooh, if I didn't work in student affairs, I would. That's a good question. I don't actually know what I'd do. This has been, so I've been doing this for so long. As I said, part of me is why I like student affairs is because I like so many different things. If you ever meet my hobbies is hobbies, I always like trying new stuff. So for me, student affairs is great because it lets me do that. One day I'm working on a PowerPoint and doing a presentation in front of hundreds of parents. The next day I'm, handing out water bottles. I'm doing emails. It's always something new and also tapping different parts of my skills. Like I might have a program where I'm partnering with like the Makerspace. I might be partnering with the Jackson Center. Just the other day, I had an amazing experience at the Hargrave Center. I got to meet someone who was very passionate about quilts and got to kind of learn about quilting and kind of like how our students can get involved with that. So for me, I think if I wasn't doing this, I would be all over the place. I would be bouncing between job and job, trying to find what made sense for me, versus student affairs that lets me do all of it in one place.
What's your favorite spot on campus?
Favorite spot on campus? I still love the Wilson Graduate Library. They have like the little museum. It's a well-kept secret. I love to have they have like a little house in there. And when I was used to be a community director, I used to have one-on-ones with my RAs where we'd go inside there and just like act like we were in old times and just have a fun meeting in there. That's a really fun place. I would say that, or in one of our residence halls, Old East, it's one of the oldest residence halls in the nation. There's a library upstairs that overlooks the quad, and that's just such a beautiful space, and I love going up there whenever I had a chance.
And lastly, what is one item on your bucket list?
One item on my bucket list, honestly, I still would love to go to a Duke-Chapel Hill game. I know that students get in the lottery, but faculty, we need to work on that, a way to get faculty to have a lottery to go see one of those games one day. But I think seeing one of those would be amazing to kind of see the excitement of the students. I've gotten lucky where I've gotten to watch the students like rush Franklin Street and see that. But for me, it's actually seeing a game and kind of seeing the whole from, the beginning to end. That sounds like a lot of fun to me and kind of also let me truly just have a Tar Heel student experience. And my name, once again, is Patrick Preudhomme. I'm the program director for Off-Campus Student Life, and if you get a chance, come stop by our office. We are over in the Student Union, Suite 2416. We'd love to see you. Come grab a cup of coffee. I love making coffee. Hopefully we'll see you soon.